pass out of its blue envelope through a long line of sea-soaked pillars, basting in the low-tide ripples, like soldiers swimming, guarding history.
One of the best things about Revere Beach was when Charles Elliott designed it at the end of the 19th century, he made sure that it was a public beach, and it has remained a public beach for almost 100 years.
His vision of not only Revere Beach, but of all the metropolitan areas for parks and recreational sites was that this is public land and it should be used for a public purpose. And many homes and hotels and amusements were built right on the sand, right on the beach.
By eminent domain, through an act of the legislature, the MDC was able to take all the buildings off the beach. They had so many days to remove the buildings, or sell them, or tear them down, or else the MDC would auction them off.
He acquired the whole strip of beach land, was able to remove a lot of the homes were like shacks, really, a lot of the small little shacks that were on the beach, and to push it back. Some of the amusements were already there, but as they deteriorated, they would be removed or moved further back.
The narrow gauge railroad ran right down the boulevard. See, the narrow gauge railroad was built in 1875, and originally it ran close to the ocean. Mr. Elliott, he had to make sure that the tracks coming out of Beachmont stayed to the west about 400 or 500 yards on the roadbed. A new roadbed was built where the MBTA is running today, the Blue Line. And so he took all that, cleared that off, and then he said, now, buildings that are going to be put up on the other side, on the west side of the boulevard, which was renamed from Railroad Avenue, he said the buildings had to be a certain height, certain this, and had to be X number of dollars had to be there to make them nice and uniform, and there was a lot of restrictions. But he was the man. If it wasn't for his foresight, Revere Beach would never be what we have today. But see, people don't know this history, and when they don't know the history, they don't realize what went into building this beach and how much forethought went in it. You hear men today talk about environmental affairs. Charles Eliot had these in the back of his mind in 1896, just about 100 years ago.
They took the beach and everything was taken down where we all had to retire, and that was the end of an era. From 1896, my dad started with his brother on Revere Beach to 1978. The Hurley name was always somewhere or other on the beach.
Two Hurley brothers came to Revere Beach about 1895. One was John Hurley, and he had 3 sons. And the other was Fred Hurley, and he had, I think, 8 children. So they were the ones that really started Revere Beach. And for 70-odd years, the Hurleys and the Hurley families and the children and grandchildren, and probably great-grandchildren, worked Revere Beach. Don Shea was very, very much of a pioneer at Revere Beach, and he and his partner, Mr. Savag, I guess was the name, they built the Cyclone, and then I know that Bluebird's Palace was very, very famous. Along anybody would come to Revere Beach, I remember Bluebird's Palace. It was another fun house. He was very innovative. Those years, they thought about something, and then when it came here, if it didn't work, they got rid of it, and they thought about something new. So he was very, very, always thinking. He always wanted something new.
I guess he just, had great imagination. And my father, one time, with the permission of the federal government, went to Oklahoma and brought a whole tribe of Indians to the beach. And he had to assure the government that they'd have a place to live and their transportation back and their transportation, to and from. And they spent the whole summer there. They had an Indian show. They'd dance and around, and it was quite an act. That was, I don't remember, that was before my time, but my mother used to tell me about it all the time. Then after World War I, they bought a submarine, and they'd take people out in the harbor, never mounted